Hello beautiful people. I'm looking at the early access version of Nightmare Frontier, a turn-based strategy set in the Old West. I have some complicated thoughts on this one. On my left, I really like it, but on my right, I'm kind of unfeeling towards it. So it's like that one friend who hosts great get-togethers, but then you have to talk to them as well. Full disclosure, I received a key from the devs to cover this, but my thoughts are my own. So sit back and let's just talk about the game in my eyes-on video. Nightmare Frontier is an extraction turn-based tactical roguelite. And if you just blinked while I said all that, you most likely missed 4 more descriptors. It's a mouthful, but basically it's a turn-based tactics game where you collect items or gear after battles that you need to extract with during a run, or they're lost forever. The extraction genre has sort of seen a boom over the years, much to the disappointment of a lot of people, but it's not overtly pervasive here. So just look past that part. It's not Tarkov or any of its more extreme companions. You start off with 3 characters, different archetypes you can build up with equipment. You have close range, a shotgun man, a sniper, and a pistol wielder. They all have their own benefits and weaknesses, but also share certain abilities. Most notably, and what is the standout with combat, is being able to melee, which pushes enemies back. You can push them into each other, environments, exploding barrels, or spikes to do more damage. As a bonus, whenever you kill an enemy, you can perform an extra action, which means if you rack up the enemies just right, you can constantly hit and move around to kill multiple monsters in one round. If you struggle to line up enemies properly, don't worry, there's a rewind button, where you can rewind up until the start of the round, which means you can play around stacking up all those dominoes. In the beginning, you won't be using too many abilities, just trying to get through and get enough materials to upgrade your equipment, which grants bonuses like more health, movement space, and once you carry multiple weapons, you can also attack more than once, which makes the comboing even more satisfying. Since the game is a roguelite, it's about going on runs, choosing your district and picking a path. The route you take determines which rewards you get. From equipment, short-term bonuses for your squad, health, reducing the terror gauge, more on that in a bit, and picking up more archetypes. When you're tasked with rescuing a new character, you have to deploy less characters, so there's space for them. Then it's up to you to keep them alive, or they join your team dead. Or just knocked out. When a character gets knocked out, they're out of that entire run. And once everyone is out, you get kicked out of it. But you don't lose any characters, unless you play on harder difficulties, which does make runs more tense. The other big gameplay element reminds me of Risk of Rain. It's the nightmare gauge. It goes up when enemies do certain attacks, and once it reaches a certain point in battle, it spawns new enemies, and they get certain bonuses that can really hurt you in the long run. Luckily, you can find this furrable icon to lower the nightmare gauge. I tend to aim for them all the time because battles can really turn against you when it hits a new bar, and suddenly spawns tricorns. I hate them so much. And that's the basics. You get equipment and raw materials, upgrade your guns and gear, then go again. Progression is based on certain objectives, but who cares? When hitting enemies is so much fun. Montage, please. So here's what I really liked about the game. The combat is just the right mixture of strategic, but also very punchy. It doesn't waste your time with ability points, hit percentages, or any elements of other more in-depth turn-based strategy games. Instead, it's about getting in and hitting enemies to start racking up those combos. The variety of archetypes makes it fun to pick favorites. I built my squad with a sniper, pistol arrow that has a hidden pocket gun, and a wild jawbone-wielding maniac, who is completely overpowered. Enemy designs are also varied, and I like how their deployment depends on your squad and their phobias. Later on I had to build a group that was afraid of spiders so I could farm some ribs from the gun-toting spider monsters. It also makes the Nightmares bar feel more tense as you try to kill enemies as quickly as possible to stop more from being summoned, since they provide a nice variety of challenges. I enjoy going up against all of them, except that tricorn, who has killed some of my best men whenever he gets the chance. I maintain a zero tolerance policy. Double tap, behead, and throw him in the fire. But otherwise, I really enjoy the battles, and the developer nailed turn-based tactics in a roguelike. They just flow incredibly well and never feel tedious. Which, to speak about the developer, they have some experience in that genre. They made Hard West 1 and 2 and Rogue Waters, 3 really good turn-based strategy games, but without any roguelite elements, so this is a new territory for them. And that's where the game struggles. The roguelite part of the game is a bit understuffed. Your route selection is very standard. If I had $1 for every roguelite that had the same map layout, I wouldn't be doing this channel. Instead, I'd be running a film studio, meaning it's used a lot. It's very low effort, and making decisions just feels dull after a while. You can't see what the rewards are past your current selection, meaning you have to plan your route based on the symbols. The map is endless. It gets progressively harder with better rewards as you move along, and it's up to you to decide when you leave. But it starts getting same old after a while as you keep going, and while the rewards get more enticing, your pack is limited, so there's no real reason to keep going for too long. I wish there was more of an incentive to keep on the road, like a boss or a mid-boss to get you some rare materials or help level up your characters. I mean, at least we could have some story incentives, but the story is just text without any flavor or real characters to speak of, so it just splashed over me without much of an impact. The game only progresses once you complete certain objectives, like finding 10 ribs or cannibal teeth, so you'll just keep grinding the routes until you open up new areas. And again, it becomes a bit dull after a while. Even when the combat keeps being fun, everything around it just starts feeling like a blur. I kept picking up new men while playing as well, enough to start a giant a cappella group called All Gun, No Knife. I really hope they fast-track the progression a bit to help it gel better with the fast-paced combat, or give better incentives for sticking out in the long run. There's a lot of promise here, and I look forward to seeing what they can do with the game going forward. Nightmare Frontier is a really good game. It's just not complete yet, which is fair since it's in early access, but playing it, I just felt like I was sleeping in a house that was missing a wall. I really look forward to the full release and will definitely come back to this once there are any major updates, but for now, I recommend it. But just be aware, you might want a little more from it down the line. And there we go. Let me know if you plan on getting it. Thank you for watching. Till I see you all next time, I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.